Greetings everyone, Professor Prinny here. I stream this chapter on this channel and I'll be doing that for the rest of the game around 5:30 PM GMT, either on Friday, Saturday or Sunday once a week, depending on my schedule. I've left the live stream for this chapter in the description, unfortunately with messed up game audio for the stream itself, but it does showcase to whoever is curious enough how and why I made the moves I did. Anyway, on to the video. Clan and Alfred have their two-sentence C bond with Celica and Sigurd. Because of how easily Alir has been beating his targets in Paralog 1, I opt to have him do squats this time, where we get to play a minigame where we match our control stick inputs to the displayed arrows with far more generous timing than the push-ups, and by the end, Alir gets a temporary boost to dexterity. We do our routine Sommy petting, and then we go to the arena to put Jean into some Spartan training, where he gets obliterated by Clan, and then subsequently by Fram and Celine when they do their training too. As for shopping, I purchase a pure water for Alfred. I also buy a heal staff to replace the one Fram broke, and then I view my currently available supports. Vander gives his thanks to Alfred for being there during the Lethos castle attack, and helps relieve Alfred's guilt of not arriving much earlier and to focus on the happier times. Jean gets lost in the forest looking for healing herbs, and Clan finds him while he himself was getting herbs for pickles. Oh, of course that'd be the reason. Clan then escorts a thankful Jean back. Chloe is out on the hunt for a food stall, and Fram offers to help, until Chloe mentions she's looking for roasted snake sandwiches, to which Fram carefully acknowledges Chloe's questionable tastes, and then runs off to find them for her. Celine gives her sincere thanks to Jean for the tea produced in his hometown by his mother, giving it her highest praises. She then invites Jean to have tea together in the future. After all that, we begin chapter 6 with Alir and Alfred making their way to the ruins where the Ring of the Dawn Maiden should be, and encounter a suspicious girl, the first character that I'm not a fan of the design of, along the way, desperately looking for something. Taking it to be his princely duty, Alfred approaches her and we get surprised by the girl's peppy personality, and she introduces herself as Unica and a Hiya Papaya, whatever that means. Unica tells us the item she lost was a talking ring, immediately raising Alfred and Alir's suspicions, and the ring told her to take them to the Divine Dragon, and at this point Alir and Alfred introduce themselves. Unica recounts that she was attacked by bandits on her journey, and she lost the ring while running away, and so the trio retrace her steps, eventually finding bandits who've taken root in a rundown town. From a significant distance, Unica manages to spot one of the bandits with the ring, and Alir compliments her. Briefly, in a serious tone, Unica describes her sight as a killer's eyes, before quickly switching back to her peppy attitude and glossing over the details. Yeah, totally not suspicious. With a plan, the group split themselves into two teams, with Unica leading Alir through a part of the map on the northeastern corner, closest to the bandit with the emblem ring, and the rest of the squad taking point on the southeastern corner. On to preparations. Because this is a fog of war map, we're only able to see areas within 3 tiles of our units, and the lit torches dotted around. To start, we can't have our entire roster deployed, so I opt to put Vander away and start investing in Jean's growth by first giving him the Quan B bond ring. I then set everyone to these positions, with the initial plan of having Chloe and Alfred taking out the hammer-wielding bandit that's north of the main group, and everyone else advancing towards the west with Louis and Boucheron at the vanguard. Then we start the map. The goal of this map is to defeat the boss Tyrande. Unica displays that her killer's eyesight translates into being able to see 5 tiles away from her position, and because of how Unica positioned herself, we're now able to see the specific thief who took the emblem ring. Like the noble divine dragon that we are, we rush in, backstab the thief, and immediately summon forth Emblem Micaiah. Alir then entrusts the Ring of the Dawn Maiden to Unica, which explains why she started the map with a men's staff despite being a thief, as the ring provides staff proficiency to the wearer. With the ring now in our possession, we have Unica move all the way to the west, revealing many of the foes the Covert Ops duo will have to fight. The main force has Clan light up a nearby torch, revealing a swordswoman on the main path, Louis and Boucheron advance, then throw their respective ranged weapons on her. Chloe moves up, solos the Hammer Thief, puts the hammer into the convoy, and then I pray that there is nothing else hidden in that area, either items or enemies. Being free of the Hammer Thief elimination operation, Alfred Emblem engages and stabs the swordswoman with Fensalir, revealing a hidden mage. Undeterred by its presence, I have Alfred move into the thicket to maintain our forward visibility, and everyone else follows. The boss takes notice of our presence and commands his lackeys to snuff out the torches, forcing us to play the memory game. The mage Alfred revealed enacts the first of the bandit's many surprises, by attacking Boucheron 3 tiles away with the Thunder Tome. From the south, a thief with a longbow snipes at Etier, who couldn't counter due to the thief's superior range. An axe bandit comes out of Alfred's blind spot and is unsuccessful at startling us. The hammer thief wasn't alone, so a swordswoman was able to get the jump on Chloe. A thief wielding a dagger comes rushing from the main path and gets a single hit on Alfred and poisons him. More enemies approach and reveal themselves, then it's on to turn 2. For a moment, let me explain how poison works in Engage compared to other games. When a unit is poisoned, they take increased damage from attacks, instead of taking damage over time. The poison has infinite duration unless cured, and it can be stacked multiple times. From what I calculate much later in the map, it seems to be 3 extra damage per stack. Anyway, Unica Emblem engages and uses the Shine Tome on the Sword Thief, subsequently lighting the area up to 5 tiles away from the target. I was hoping Mikaya's weapon would be the Fanny Tome, but I guess it would be a bit overpowered if the healing focused Emblem Ring also had a 2-range attack that was super effective on cavalry and armor. Elia then sees Unaka's shining beacon and follows up. Due to the variety of enemies, the following maneuvers I made were risky. Louis pushes our zone of control and tries to eliminate the axe thief next to Alfred, and unfortunately misses. Boucheron throws a hand axe at the mage and ends up in critical condition. Fram skillfully breaks the dagger thief and levels up to level 5, which then allows her fellow Chi adept Jean to deal the finishing blow. Alfred finishes off the mage to protect Boucheron, and with no fear, Clan burns the bow bandit, loots the longbow from their corpse, and then gives it to Etier, who then uses it to snipe the axe thief near them. Céline continues to follow, and Chloe retreats because of the nearby archer. The enemies start their turn by snuffing out the easternmost torch. Louis retains aggro on the thief he attacked earlier. Another dagger bandit appears and attacks Louis despite not being able to deal damage. Elia then continues his dance with the swordswoman in the north, and then in the south, Clan successfully dodges a fatal blow. Turn 3, Unica permanently blinds the nearby enemy, allowing Elia to break the next bandit along. Etier gets Clan out of his dangerous predicament and levels up to level 6. Knowing there's still an archer to the east, we have Chloe hover over a low wall and contribute some DPS on the aggroed mobs and levels up to level 8. Céline follows up and eliminates the axe bandit, bringing her to level 7. Fram decides it's time to heal the tank, then Jean scouts the area ahead with the Illume Staff. Louis gets in front of Jean and targets the newly revealed axe thief. Alfred then overrides the unit closest to him, and then Clan advances through the southern path. Alfred is broken by a nice hit rate. Elia retaliates against their regressor with a crit, and more enemies approach once again. Turn 4. Knowing the eastern archer's position before the Illume Staff range decayed, I decide it's time to take them down. First, by sending Jean back to keep them in the team's sights. Chloe and Alfred both close the distance and attack the swordswoman with their javelins. Boucheron and Etier try to eliminate the archer together, and they both fail. Thankfully, I still had the option to use the emergency Clan nuke. Louis, knowing not to extend too far like a good tank, pulls back and strikes at the axe bandit, who is then finished off by Céline. Just in case, Fram activates Chain Guard to keep our near-death units safe. Nearing the end of her engaged state, Unica utilizes Emblem Mikaya's skill Great Sacrifice, a significantly better skill than what Mikaya had in Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, which fully heals all allies, even the ones we don't control, at the cost of setting the user's HP to 1, which is an absurdly cheap price to pay, and it gives Unica an equally large amount of EXP to boot. Alir then finishes the turn by putting himself between the enemies and Unica. Despite Fram's assist, Boucheron fails to take down the swordswoman. Alir avoids getting poisoned, defeats the dagger thief, and then continues his dodging streak with the next attacker. Turn 5, Unica sneakily throws a dagger which is followed by Alir's finishing blow, bringing him to level 8. Before extending our range of vision, Alfred throws a javelin at the dagger bandit, then he stands on the Emblem energy tile. After a long streak of misses, Boucheron redeems himself by finishing what Alfred started and reaching level 5. The severely weakened swordswoman is then incapacitated with a jab from Jean. Everyone else then progresses through the main path, except for Céline who takes a side route. And then Fram heals Boucheron. From the shadows, Céline gets attacked and is unfazed by the assault, though she is poisoned from the follow-up. Alir remains a potent dodge tank for the covert duo and severely wounds his attacker, who is then eliminated by Unica at the start of turn 6, which also levels her up. Alir moves to the next thicket along, noticing a sword unit in the distance. Etienne and Céline double team on the axe bandit. Despite his heavy armor, Louis sneaks behind the dagger thief that poisons Céline and hits them with a javelin. Chloe lights up the next beacon along our path, revealing another swordswoman in the southwestern area, who is then charged at by Alfred, bringing him to level 8. With how far in the rear he is, Jean heals Fram before everyone else continues their advance. The Dagger Bandit, for their final act, poisons Clan and then the Clan levels up to level 6. Having stood no chance, the southwestern swordswoman falls to Alfred's spear. And unfortunately, Alir's dodging streak ends, then another sword unit decides to just stand in front of Louis. Turn 7, Clan takes the next Emblem energy tile. Boucheron moves to Louis' left and throws a hand axe at the sword unit. Fram heals Céline, then Céline and Etienne take down the sword thief. Louis and Chloe proceed along the main path, and Alfred holds the main force's left flank, and reveals a hidden archer on the side. Unica and Alir then take out the last remaining foe in their path, and finally meet up with the rest of the party. The bandits continue their surprises, with the boss sneakily attacking Alfred from the west, and inadvertently preventing his archer buddy from being able to do anything. Louis lures out another bandit and levels up to level 8. Turn 8, Louis strikes again at the same bandit, who is then eliminated by Céline. Alfred retreats and is then healed by Fram. Boucheron takes over the choke point. Etienne starts whittling down on the short-sighted archer. I then have Unica move as far along as she can and reveals a hidden mage that's a huge threat to Louis. In response, Chloe throws a javelin and then Alir goes for the overkill. The boss stays where they are and gets a beefy hit on Boucheron. And seriously, what is the game doing with this poor archer? Well, since it clearly has no will to live, Etienne puts them out of their misery as the first act of turn 9. Unica takes the opportunity to stand on the Emblem energy tile and heal Alir, who then moves to the protection tile and lights up the adjacent torch. Louis moves back down, ready to take over Boucheron if need be. Jean heals Louis and gets his first scam of a level up. Chloe positions herself just outside of the boss's range. Boucheron uses a vulnerary, then Fram heals Alfred, who then Emblem engages and moves as far away as he can, while still having the boss within his attack range for the next turn, to get the maximum effect of the momentum skill. Tyrande once again attacks Boucheron and then we enter turn 10. I let the Alfred arrow loose and take out a significant chunk of the boss's HP. Unica moves to the protection tile and she Emblem engages to utilize the +5 range and +1 splash radius for Stave's ability to heal both Alfred and Boucheron at the same time. Etienne chips away at the boss, then because I'm 100% sure that the boss will attack Alfred from a distance, Fram uses the obstruct staff to block the thicket so they can't take advantage of the defensive bonus. Everyone else keeps their distance from the boss, and then Jean finishes the turn by healing Clan. The boss is forced into the map boundary and as expected he attacks Alfred and misses. Final turn. Alfred safely breaks Tyrande's revival stone. Bergeron and Etier take a pot shot each, then Clan Emblem engages one more time and unleashes Warp Ragnarok on the boss. Unica uses Great Sacrifice one last time this map and levels up again. And with Bergeron's help, Chloe delivers the exact damage needed to slay Taronda.
You think this is justice, huh?